Okay, so this week I'm trying something a little bit new. I said I would do this. It's building on the template for the free write that I talked about last time. I've got my glasses on this time because I'm at my computer, and what I'm doing is I'm showing you the formula, the whole template, and I'm going to work through it with you. So I'm going to explain every single column. You can see what I'm doing, how I got there, and then hopefully you can then take it and adapt it and make it your own. Before I even do that, I just want to say it's been great to hear back from people. A lot of people have already asked for the template. I've sent this revised template to those who have requested it, and I'd sent them my old one. This is better. It's got a formula built in that my son has helped me to create, and I'm going to talk you through it so that you understand how to use it. So to start with, the first column is very simple. It's been formulated to be a text column, and it's just the pupils' names. Obviously, I've put a few details about me in it, so that anybody who's using this can find me again should they need to. See here where it says number. If you click down there, okay, you can choose a number format. So if you highlight a column, like that one, you go to the thing and you can either have specific numbers or, in this case, text, which is what I have. This one, date of birth, these two columns are not going to change because obviously the child's name is going to be the same each time that child is assessed. So the date of birth, you can again formulate that to be specifically short date, long date, however you want to do it. So you can actually make that your own. If you want to change that and you use the long date, you can just go through the number thing and change it there. Okay, I have populated the first one to an extent, this column here, this colour here, and what I've done is I've run the formula runs all the way down, or runs down the columns I've created, and what you've got is you've got rows there for the next pupil, the next pupil, the next pupil. The reason I've done that is so that you can see where the pupil changes, because the idea is that you would, over time, you want each pupil in one place so you can see how that pupil has progressed. As we're looking specifically at SEND, you need to see that pupil's progress. So it's a long spreadsheet because it's going to have a lot of pupils. I've put, for example, year 5 down the bottom. You can see that, or you can't actually, it's where my video is, but at the bottom I've called this page year 5. So you could have a different page for each year group, you could have a different page per class, however you wanted to organize your spreadsheet. So the next one is the date of the free write. So again, that's been organized by date, as I showed you before, going into the number column thing there. Now here we've got the total number of words. That's been done to 0 decimal places because it's always going to be a whole number. How many words have they written? Okay. How many minutes? You're going to work, I've deliberately put one as 15 minutes so you can see that it doesn't matter how long you choose to do your free write. Sometimes you might want to say, no, we're going to have a long free write. You know, I chose 10 minutes because it's very easy, and it was before I knew how to do the formula, so it meant that I could just sort of get on with it. So the words per minute is correct to 1 decimal place. So it's very simple, and there's a very simple formula there that is basically, so that's column E, and that's just basically, yeah, the number of words divided by the number over the number of minutes, words per minute. The number of errors, that column G, is adding up all of these columns from I through to O, so that however many errors they've made, it will add them up correctly. That's because, quite frankly, we make mistakes. I've made mistakes before. I've put in a wrong thing. I've put down a 5 when I meant a 4 or whatever. I've added them up incorrectly, whatever. This by having the formula in there, it takes away human error. So the number of words and the words per minute will automatically populate. So will the percentage accuracy. Okay, there's a formula in there to calculate the percentage accuracy, and what it does is it calculates the percentage of errors, and then it inverts that to turn that into percentage accuracy. So the formula is there ready to use. So then you have all the different aspects, the phonic mistakes, the close phonics, the visuals, which I talked through last week. So you look at it, and what you're looking for is movement from this side, from other, through to the phonics, because if they're correct phonically, then we can actually understand everything that they've written, and that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for getting it accurate. But as I've said before, for those children who are still getting 5 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 5 out of 10 week after week, how do we see progress? We see it through this sort of template, this sort of analysis. So I can see, for example, that they started off with only 53% accuracy. By the end, forget this column for now, number 6, this row, I'll go through that in a minute, but they've moved up to 78% accuracy. So they are making progress. And by the end, there are none in the other column, so there's nothing that you couldn't work out. There's still a couple of reversals, and there's still some omissions, but these numbers have gone down from there. You can see how these numbers have changed. And that's really important if we're looking for progress. I deliberately chose to put in some dates that included after the summer holidays, because it's likely that whatever they were doing in May, by the time they came back the following September, they may have dipped over the summer a bit. So it's not unusual to have a slight dip. So it's gone from 79.8% accuracy to 78%. But that's still an improvement on the previous year. So you can see a year by year progress. And that's something we often forget, the sort of like that there are going to be times where it will dip, but what's the overall progress? So the fact it's dipped from last time isn't necessarily a bad thing. Think about why. Okay, so also you've got other sorts of development. So everything there was sound or simple, now everything is good. So they're using better vocabulary, they've got their grammars there. The punctuation has gone from no punctuation whatsoever to some full stops and most of their capitals, then back to some full stops and capitals, because again, and I've put here, dipped over the summer, quality of writing still good. So you can see where the progress is and why. The notes section gives you a chance to say all the whys and to explain what you're seeing. So if you go back to column 2, pupil A in his first one, you've got the omissions were all medial sounds. Now that's the sort of detail that 5 out of 10 isn't going to give you, but it's really, really interesting. If they're missing out sounds, is their hearing an issue? I've got the reversals happen to be P's and B's, not B's and D's. So P, B, which I've said before, it's the same formation, but one is P, unvoiced, and one is B, voiced, but you're doing the same with your mouth. So is that a hearing issue? It may be that these omissions and these reversals are not a sign of the, oh, it must be dyslexia because you've got the P's and the B's and all the rest of it. P's and B's. But it could be hearing. So, and the pupil couldn't remember their bizarre ones. That quite often happens. So the next time I've made a note that there was a hearing test and there were no concerns. That's making me now think dyslexia. See how you can analyze this and get so much out of it to really know what needs to be developed. Okay, there's a little note here, there's signs of self-correcting. In other words, there's been things that have been crossed out and written again. Now again, you might not have that in a normal, just a spelling test raw data. I've got all word I is capitals, most sentences starting with capitals, so I know what the capitals are being used for. And then the dipped over the summer that I mentioned. Now, we've put in, just for the purpose of this, I've put in the column 6 so you can see how the formulae work. So if I change the number of errors, if I change this one, and suddenly there are 6 errors, you will see when I click enter or go to another cell, these have now changed. Okay, so now it's saying 6 errors in total. If I put something in there, you'll see that changes again. That's gone up to 8. The percentage accuracy has changed. Okay, if I go back to putting a 0 in there and a 10 in there, you see it goes back. So you can see how the formulae are working. If we decide we're going to do a 15-minute free write, okay, then you'll see that this one here also changes. Now it's only 6.7 words per minute because there was more time in which to do it. Same percentage accuracy because it's the same number of words, same number of mistakes. So by having these formulae, it just means it just takes a lot of the work out, which means you can focus on that data. Now the other thing are these little down arrows. These tell us how we can sort things. I might want to go, instead of from oldest to newest, I might want to go from newest to oldest, and then you'll see, let's just do that again slowly. I'm going to go to newest to oldest, no, oldest to newest, and you'll see everything in the same line changes at the same time. Okay, so oldest to newest, it will all change, but it will change along the line, so everything within that line changes. So if I want to see whether how their percentage accuracy has changed, and there's just all these numbers because by then they've done 10 tests. I can go from the largest to the smallest percentage accuracy. Okay, so now it's grouped it all differently, and I can see, oh right, they've now got 90% accuracy, whereas before they had 53% accuracy. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to changing this whole thing by the date, because that's my most useful way of having it. Okay, but it means I can look at it and analyze it. I can see, how many, what's happened with their phonetic errors, and I could look at it from smallest number to largest number. It will tell me more information than I'm getting otherwise. Okay, so this particular template is available to anyone who wants it. I'm giving it away with the greatest of pleasure. I want people to be using it. I want people to be developing their ways of testing. So I'm just getting it back to what it was originally. I think that's where we were. Yes. I want people to get back to find ways of analysing pupil data in a way that's meaningful. I don't just want things to be blank, bare numbers that tell us very little. I want these numbers to actually help us, to help the children, because that's what it's all about. And if I can do a detailed analysis that says, look, the sort of errors they're making are reversals, I can work on reversals in words. Oh, look, they're missing out sounds. What sounds? Oh, they're all medial sounds. Okay, we need to really work on those sounds in the middle of words. Oh, they're all final sounds. Okay. Oh, they're all blended sounds. What is it that's missing? Is it they're not getting those blends? I can then target my intervention to really support the child. So hopefully this will help you to understand what's going on with this spreadsheet. And thank you very much.